Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program. We're part of the Mike King Biz Net Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, as well as the Choice 105.3. Today we're coming to you for the Nonprofit Summit. Mike King, Chris Mayfield, we're putting this together for you to help nonprofits in the community. We're coming to you from Mama Michelle's Cafe, which is the premier cafe Southside, which is at 10811 Hull Street Road in the Victorian Square Shopping Center. Make sure you go ahead and check her out for all of your catering needs, as well as the great food. Come here, support her. She does some outstanding work supporting the community. You'll meet her a little bit later. At this point, I'm going to throw it to Chris Mayfield, and then we'll come back.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and I'd like to thank David Stein from Banker's Life for sponsoring the event. As Mike says frequently, it takes money to save the world, so it's good to find people that are willing to contribute in a big way to their community and to nonprofits and the people that work inside and support nonprofits. So, David, thank you. We'll give you a couple minutes later if you need or would like them. We certainly would like. So what I'd like to do is start the morning with just doing a round of intros, and let's start down here with YB. Go ahead and kick it off, sir.
Absolutely. Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Rob YB Youngblood. I serve as the Chief Connecting Officer of YB Connects, which is a relationship and referral marketing firm. However, I'm here in the capacity serving as the sales colonel for Lamar Marie's Gourmet Popcorn. And some people might say, well, what do you have to do with nonprofits? Well, Lamar Marie Gourmet Popcorn believes in nonprofits, so much so that we create a platform to allow nonprofits to utilize our popcorn to raise money. So 50% of the bags that organization sells comes back to that organization. And we look forward to adding value and being a resource for nonprofits who want to use our deliciousness in terms of popcorn to not only provide valuable resources to the community, but to raise money in the process. Rob Youngblood, Lamar Marie's Gourmet Popcorn.
Hi, I am Honesty Liller. I am a woman in long-term recovery from drug addiction for over 14 years now, and I am the CEO of the McShin Foundation. I am actually a proud alum of the McShin Foundation. They took me in with nothing on May 28th of 2007, and I've just kind of never left. I lived in the recovery house, and I have been working there for over 13 and a half years, and I've been the CEO for 8 years. So what McShin is, we are humans helping other humans with addiction, whether it's drug or alcohol addiction, and we have recovery homes in the Richmond area with same-day services. So when someone comes in or calls or emails, they get to see one of our cool people that are our staff, because all of our staff are in recovery. So we have the lived experience of addiction, recovery, and a ton of other cool life skills that we teach the humans that we serve, as well as jail programming. We do recovery programming in jails, we do family programming, but our biggest niche is we have 12 almost 13 recovery homes in the Richmond area.
Hello everybody, my name is Vicki Ryan, the Executive Director of Podium RBA. Podium serves youth ages 10 through 19 across Greater Richmond. We do writing, communication, and leadership programs, so that looks like weekly meetings after school, summer programs. We also do quarterly zines, an annual youth literary journal, and we do open mics and showcases like regional debates. So for us, it's really important to take a 3-tier approach where we're helping youth build their academic writing and critical thinking skills, where we're helping our youth build their personal and creative expression for healthy development, and for youth to prepare for success, whether or not they're in middle school preparing for high school, or our high school students preparing for college or career. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ajay Blue Saunders, and I am on staff with Jobs RBA. Jobs RBA is a nonprofit that since 2016 we have been equipping churches and other organizations to walk in the space of faith and work. So what we do is we help churches and nonprofits host these relational job training classes called Jobs for Life. And we help the underemployed and the unemployed connect and find meaningful work so that they learn how to work unto God and learn how to work with God's character. We use a trove of volunteers, and we need volunteers to help teach classes and to help feed them, the students, and provide manual support. It is a transformational model that we use, and we work in community. And we work under the impact model, where we work with a lot of churches and nonprofits, and collectively we make a change in Metro Richmond.
Good morning, my name is Steve Peck. I am the Executive Director and founder of Caring Men Global, a newly formed nonprofit. We have as our sole mission the education of men on how to deal with cancer when it strikes a family or a loved one. We are dedicated to building a community of men to help one another and to leverage our multiple connections within the cancer community to support our mission. You can reach me directly at steve@caringmen.org or our website at www.caringmen.org. Thanks very much.
I'm Ann Flippin. I'm the Executive Director of the Autism Society of Central Virginia, also proud big sister to a 30-year-old young man with autism. And the two of us have really lived a lifelong journey together. And now my big passion is to support other families who are traveling a similar journey. So I am proud to lead an organization that was founded over 40 years ago as one of the premier sources of education, advocacy, services, and support for the autism community. We host a wide variety of programs and services, including camps, social recreational activities, support groups, an annual conference, ongoing workshops, and a lot of advocacy initiatives as well. We have a lot of new programs since COVID, which has been really rewarding for us to host, including our first ever in-person summer camp, a support group for grandparents, dads, females with autism. Those are our newest ones, as well as now we're doing a disc golf clinic, we're doing a chess club, and lots of other unique social and recreational activities, trying to really lean in where the community needs it the most. So really invite all to get involved with our organization and come find a connection. You're not alone, and we're here to support our local autism community. Thank you.
Nice. Hey, I'm David Stein. I'm with Bankers Life. I'm a retirement planner and small business strategist. I do anything anywhere from healthcare to life insurance to investments, so that could be your basic health insurance to long-term care planning to life insurance, using it as a financial vehicle, even to setting up your investments in your retirement. For me, in my industry, I guess it'd be easy to sit back and say, hey, we're supposed to be salesmen, that's what we're supposed to do. For me, I like to think of it as I'm an educator. I want to sit back and give you all your options, because I feel that if I can better your life, I can better the community. And that's really the ultimate goal. So thank you all. I appreciate everybody and what you do, because that's really the main objective behind everything I do, is to better the community and better somebody's life.
Well, 1 second, before Nanette gets started. One of the reasons why Nanette and I have been doing this for a while, a long time. Nanette's a great supporter. What she's going to bring today is the whole fundraising piece, and I always joke about what's needed. So during the course of, we're going to do these on a monthly basis for the next couple of months. Chris is going to have, he's going to do, Bankers Life is going to be here as well. And that is going to be the subject matter expert on the funding piece, because she's a great supporter of the community. So I just want to give her props before we get started. So she's going to talk about that. Chris is going to do the process this side. I'm going to give a little bit about how to get on to TV stations, radio stations, and those things. And hopefully, so for the veterans who've done this before, those are mostly informational, to put you in a room with other folks from business and community, community organizations. This is going to be a little bit different, because this is going to be, we're going to have subject matter experts like these folks here.
Thanks, Mike. It's great to be here. Quite impressive group. Thank you all for being here and for what you do in the community. I'm Nanette Shore. I have Shore Fundraising Strategies, and I'm a fundraising consultant. I work with nonprofits to help them excel in their fundraising efforts. And really, the fundraising, the money is the means to the end, and the end is to deliver as many really quality services as you can to the community. So while fundraising has this, big kind of connotation and scary thing about it. It's really just what you need to deliver your services, and I think that's kind of the tactic I take is this is not something that should be down and dirty. This is something that's natural as a part of what you're doing, and I think many people have seen that as we work together. I have over 35 years of experience both in the professional world and in the nonprofit world as a volunteer and as a professional. And I just love meeting new organizations, and so thrilled to be here today. And I'm always in awe of the great work that everyone's doing, and whether you help 1 or 2 people at an event or 100, you're making a difference and you're changing the world, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Chef, do you have a second?
Yeah.
One of the reasons we're going to talk about, sometimes you get pigeonholed, and I always give props to the people who are here with us. And because you do a certain thing, that's what the world knows you as. So she's Chef Michelle Wilson. This is her place. They've done everything here from Masterpiece Theaters to parking lot pull-ups to all those things. Finding a place to give creatives a spot. But what I want her to talk about, she's looking like, what the heck? What is Mike talking about? Yes. The thing is, people know her as a chef, and you see her cooking the things that you do, which is soul food, home cooking. Explain to people, when people see you at doing that, they don't typically think of you as all the chefing things you can do.
Right. Sometimes you can get pigeonholed. And I am a chef. I'm a trained culinary chef. And I can do fancy stuff. I can airplane chicken. I can, put twigs on top of cucumbers and make it really nice and charge you a lot of money. So, so I try to expand people's awareness of what we can do, what I can do outside of just this restaurant. And so we have a TV show called The Culture Mix Experiment, where we bring local artists, poets, all kinds of folks together, local chefs. As a matter of fact, if you're here long enough, you'll meet the chefs from Hell Kitchen. They're doing a pop-up here tonight. So they'll be here this afternoon, about 12 or so. So you might get a chance, if you're still here, you'll meet them. They'll be banging pans in the kitchen. And so I try to make this a hub and a place for those to come and create and have a soft place to land and take off from. Is that?
Yes, thank you. Yes, ma'am. I put the phone down. Thank you. All right. Yes. Sorry, folks. Yes. Chris, sorry.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yes, I'm done.
All right, thank you. So we all know the last year to 18 months has been tough. It's been tough on everybody. There's no way to insulate yourself from a pandemic. There's no way to fully protect yourself. But the reality is, just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean the rest of life doesn't continue. People still have drug addiction. People still need job training. People still have autism. People still get cancer. But what I'd like to hear a little bit is, and we'd start from this end if we could, a little bit about what's your journey been like over the last year or so, and what can we do collectively to help you today, and then what kind of do you need to support the community going forward?
I'm happy to go first. So I think starting back at the beginning of 2020, we set a goal to add one virtual component to our programming. We've always wanted to, and made it a priority. And then back in March, so 2 months later, we made everything virtual. So we really, the theme for us was pivoting, leaning in. I'm very, very fortunate to have such a dedicated team. We all did it from home. We worked harder than we ever had before. Really reinvented everything we did, but it worked. We more than tripled our programming. We hosted an average of a program a day, exactly 365 programs. We were at 364, and I was, no, we're gonna have one more. So we did a New Year's gathering for adults with autism. They bring in the new year together as our final program of the year. So we got creative, and it was daunting. We didn't know. We closely tracked financials. Things were looking significantly down at the beginning of the year. So I was scared, but I will say we supported the community, and in turn they supported us back, and we just saw a lot of generosity, and we're really grateful.
That's great. and what can we do to help you out today?
So I'm just continuing to learn how we can enhance what we do, networking with others and helping each other, just creating that community and knowing that we're all in it together. The nonprofit community is strong.
Certainly is. Mr. Peck?
Well, good morning, and thanks very much for Chris for putting this together, and Nanette for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here. How did COVID impact us? Actually, COVID with us had a positive impact. Because as a semi-retired financial executive, I had time on my hands. I had no place to go. And nobody wanted to listen to me. So I stepped back a little bit, and I decided I'm going to give back to the community what I learned the hard way 26 years ago. I lost my first wife to breast cancer, and from that I learned that caregiving was tough. And I wanted to give what I learned back to the community. And I only wanted to focus on men. I didn't want to focus on anything else other than educating men. Because what I've learned over the years is men are not engineered with the DNA that's necessary to make them a good caregiver. So I put together some bits and pieces and came up with Caring Men Global, with the sole function of educating men on how to deal with cancer when it strikes the family. We started our website. We actually started on May the 12th of this year. We've done some peer-to-peer fundraising, and we're also now in the process of looking for greater funding and resources to help grow our organization. We feel we're off to a really good start. I'm excited about what we're doing. I've gotten some really great feedback from numerous individuals, both on the corporate level as well as on the individual level. So our arms are outreaching to the community to support us and to help us grow, and I think we're going to get there. So thanks very much.
Okay, so how did the pandemic affect Jobs RVA? Thank you for having me, Chris. Well, Jobs RVA, like I said, works with under a collective impact model, so it affected a lot of our job training locations and our people who were hosting job training classes, that some churches and some nonprofits, so they had shut down. You know, churches stopped holding in-person classes or services, and so they switched to kind of a hybrid model, some in-person, some virtual. And so we too had to switch from holding in-person classes to actually holding virtual classes. And some churches and nonprofit made the switch effortlessly, and some struggled with that. And so we also had a challenge in finding students who wanted to go into classes. You would think that because of the pandemic there were all these jobs available, but people were very cautious about, you know, coming out and being among people, and so even some of the sites that had classes struggled with finding students. And so we're still gearing up for that now. We're gearing back in the fall now to host some classes which will started in September, and some will start in October. These classes are offered in like Goochland and East End of Richmond and South Side of Richmond, in churches all over the region. So if you know someone who is struggling with work, struggling to retain work, someone who is struggling just to be able to advance in their career, these life-changing job readiness classes may help them, because it focuses on what's really going on with a person and why they're not able to succeed in life. Sometimes they stop dreaming, sometimes they've given up hope, and sometimes they're just lost, like where to go. So these classes help them refocus. We financially, we took a hit because a lot of the major funders shifted their focus to emergency support, you know, food and shelter and homelessness and those things. So we're talking about helping people find work, and a lot of funders didn't understand our focus, and we're actually realigning their funds toward those other emergency needs. And so we're just now regaining funding support again. We're running a fundraiser today and tomorrow called The Amazing Praise. You can donate online at our website, and so it's been tough to kind of see the industry regroup, because everyone thinks there's all these jobs, but the jobs have shifted. There's not as many service jobs anymore. There's not as many folks on the ground, needing those services, and so we need help, and we need prayer. We also need people who can refer other clients to us and the volunteers to us to help to work in these areas.
You probably also would be interested in connecting with any employers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Employers are, employers are are an interesting breed, right? They they want a lot, and sometimes they don't often give a lot. So what has happened through the pandemic that employees have gotten smarter, and they want more, they deserve more, and so but we always connect with employers who are looking for dedicated, ethical employees with character and with a good heart to work. And so if there are some employees out there who have some openings, please contact me at jobsrba.com, and we will be able to reach you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, with Podium RBA, I mean, a lot of what has already been said is kind of similar to our experience. All of our programming, which happened in middle schools, high schools, youth community centers like Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA centers, all of that went virtual. We took some pretty big hits in funding, just like other folks have mentioned, just because, emergency services came first. And so that is, a similar narrative here for Podium. One thing that we, really focused on and paid particular attention to was the majority of the students that we serve at Podium, right, are from lower income families. And so one thing we had to keep in mind is that as we were doing these virtual programs, not all of our students, had a space to to be after school with us, nor did they have a space to be, really able to focus on what they were doing during the school day. And so while there were some benefits, like one thing I heard some of my students say was, Miss Vicki, I had the opportunity to sit and really think about, who I am and what I want to do and who I want to be, and now I know that I can make better decisions for myself than maybe what I had thought in the past. However, what we also know is that because of, all of these differences in education, we are coming back, we know that children of color are coming back with almost 70% of loss of expected literacy gains of a typical school year. Lower income students are coming back at almost a year behind expected gains. And so that is a huge, serious issue. And so on our end, what we're doing is we've already committed to doubling the amount of programs that we are starting this fall in just a few weeks. We are working really hard to make sure that we are serving, we served about 300 students in 2020, so we are working to get right back up to over 500 students again, because when you're doing writing and communication skill development, right, you can do that virtually, but in person, there's just such a unique connection there that's really critical to that skill development. And so one way that we're asking folks to help out is we're launching in 2022 a youth literacy giving circle. And so we're trying to connect with local businesses, corporations, social entrepreneurs, other nonprofits that really want to say, hey, we understand that youth literacy, that our writing and communication skill development is important across all fields, all areas. And so let's address this educational inequity that we see in this learning loss.
Yeah, so it was interesting. One of the things that I think could have a huge impact here in Virginia, and you hear very little about it until it comes time to discuss underserved communities or rural communities, is our state has the ability and somewhat the drive to make high-speed internet a utility. So think about high-speed internet like your electricity or like your water. We can do that, but what that takes is a little public will. When we talk about solutions for underserved kids, in particular children, our legislature and our representatives can impact that in a big way if we ask them to. But if we don't ask them to, then they won't, because it doesn't seem like a priority for us. So over the next year or so, depending on the midterms, we will, for Fusion, we'll start a campaign to start lobbying our elected representatives to move or transition our internet service to as a utility service. So underserved communities, underserved folks will be the same as when you move or you move in, you get your electricity turned on, you get your internet turned on too.
That's
And
fantastic.
so we have the ability, we have the political will right now, but what we do need is a demand from voters. So keep that in mind. I think that's going to be a pretty big initiative for us next year. So I'd love to have your voice and your input on creating that demand, so to speak.
Oh, Chris, you got it. Thank you so much for doing that. That's so important. It really is. Absolutely.
Oh, sure. Hi. Honesty again. So, golly, ours is a little different. COVID
Yeah.
equals a lot of more death, to be honest with you, with addiction. So, gosh, this time last year, so there's a ton of reports already out for our state. I think the overdose rate is 93% higher than it was last year. The reason being this, so being a woman in recovery, like we like hugs, like it's very hard, that isolation piece. So when it hit March 2020 now, a lot of the 12-step meetings closed, the churches, closed, but one cool thing McShin never did. We never shut our doors. We were in person, and we're still in person to this day. Because with the disease of addiction, you can't put a pause on that. You can't put a pause on addiction. You can't put a pause on families that are trying to save their child or loved one's life. It's just not reality. So we're super innovative in recovery, I think. We just covered up with drugs and alcohol for so many years. So McShin, we immediately switched to a ton virtual into our 12 houses. So staff members took turns. Every single night we were virtually in the houses. So like the first few weeks, we call them participants, the humans that we serve. We kept them at home, but we did a ton of virtual services. But then we popped up in the front yard, masks, whatever we had to do at the house, because the show must go on with the disease of addiction. What else? So the jail programs that we served, they shut down. That was a whole mess inside the jails that we served. So, but we're all back in there doing great. Getting ready to start one at Richmond City Jail, which is awesome. And I'll be honest, like the COVID pandemic has abrupted the recovery community, and not just here in Virginia, but nationally. And it's emotional for me because I am in recovery, and the humans that I serve are me. And seeing the family members that have lost so many people this past year and a half. I mean, it was already an epidemic. Opiates are like in the news, but there's so much more alcohol now. Just regular humans at home that have, not to be mean, but have been stuck at home with their kids. They're chock-a-lugging. They're drinking a ton of alcohol. And it's fact. It's data out there, and I see it at McShin. People that you just. It's all walks of life, and that's how it's always been with addiction, but since COVID, it has really rocked those with addiction, and people are losing their lives left and right, and it's, we're still doing whatever we do. Like I said, we've still been open. We have, we're in Hatcher Memorial Church on Dumbarton Road. Our whole recovery center's been open, but we have all we got this electronic, temperature thing. We got all kinds of things immediately, because we had to have people still in our building every single day, and it affects your mental health. Like when you're so used to not even just going to meetings, but we call it the herd, being a part of the herd, and then you're isolated and have to be at home. And this is just recovery in general and addiction in general in this area, not just McShin. It's hard, and you develop so many other disorders, and just families are just, are getting ripped apart from addiction right now. And, what I've learned though, and what we've learned as a team, because I've got an amazing team at McShin. I mean, I can't tell you how hard they work. And again, it's because you know, we're helping people just like us, which is the coolest part, I think, and feel about McShen. But we've learned so many things business-wise, you know, through this. We've had to let go some people in the beginning, so I'm the Director of Development and CEO for the past almost 2 years. Thank you, Nanette has helped me through all of that because it's hard doing.
She's a rock star.
Yeah, well, thanks, but well, I am. Hey,
Planet.
yeah, it has been hard. It has been hard. I mean, we already all have 100 roles that we serve, but really being a developer and the CEO, it has been hard. But you know, people like Nanette have guided me through that, so it's been super cool too. So I've gotten to learn a lot of other skills to help our organization, and our staff was already awesome, but now we're even more close. We're family at McShen, and we have to be because the addiction crisis, I think it said 93%, I want to say Hanover already, and I want to say 96 in Henrico already of the overdoses. So it's everyday occurrence in our world, but it's our job as humans in recovery to keep doing what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. How you can help though, we are part of the Birdies for Charity through the Dominion Energy, the PGA Tour. So if you would like to make a donation or anything like that, you can do it through their website. And not only does the money come to us, but 10% of everything, all of our donations, we get 10% on top of that because of that PGA Tour in October. So that's one big thing. Well, I guess I need to talk to you about later. But that's a big thing that I'm working on starting today to really dive into that. So I'm very grateful for that. And we got some avid golfers too that are our president, but then we try to have fun in recovery because it's such a dummy downer. People, you know, are addicted to drugs and they come in, and we got to have fun in recovery. Like McShen is big on having fun in recovery, so we have fun events and do super cool things with the humans that we serve because, you know, for me, I was addicted to heroin for 9 years, but I did other drugs for 14, and when I came to McShen, I thought my life was just over. You know, I was 26 years old, I was shooting heroin, like I didn't know how to function, and then I thought, like eventually I would drink again because it's cool, and I thought, how in the hell am I going to have fun in recovery without drugs, because I started with such a, man, we have so much fun in recovery, drug and alcohol free. I mean, we be popping at McShen. It's really fun. It really is fun because we have to, and what I'm actually recovering from COVID. I'm not positive, but this will be 1 month on Saturday since I was diagnosed, and it's been hard. I had it really, really bad. I'm vaccinated, all that. I'm not here to mask, or I'm not here to preach anything. This is lived experience, so it has been hard with the COVID crisis inside. You know, there's been an epidemic, but now there's a pandemic in the epidemic, and unfortunately, we're doing what we can, but it's still getting worse out there. So, yeah.
And I wanted to jump back, if I could, before
Go.
about the Birdies for Charity, because here's an example of a community organization, Dominion Energy, who sponsors the Dominion Energy Charity Classic, and the PGA has stepped up to develop this Birdies for Charity. And if you wanted to hear more about it, I interviewed them on my radio show, on Mike's show, that I've been doing, my show, Fundraising Ignited, and you can look at Shore Fundraising Strategies on Facebook, and you'll see the show there. But the beauty is that any nonprofit can sign up now until through the actual event, which is in the end of October. So PGA is adding 10% to any donation. They're not keeping any fees, so you're getting 110% of any gift made. And please, for any nonprofit here or listening, if you haven't signed up for it, do it, because it's free money. Even if it's an extra $10, think about what you could do with just another $1. You can always do something more. So I always like to recognize people in the community who are supporting our organizations in a really big way. I mean, a whole team here just focusing on this in Richmond. So it's exciting. I didn't mean to cut into
No, listen,
I would have forgotten by the time we got around.
This is a great platform for the nonprofits. You know, as I sit here, I look at Ajay. You know, she's like my mom. I've known her for a number of years, even when I started working with the Boy Scouts. But I would say for Lamar Marie, you know, we was hit like most businesses, right? You know, we lost staff and, you know, people not being able to come in. But what is the one thing that most people did while they were home? They were snacking. Yeah, they were shopping. So for us, we've seen a number of online orders go up, and so, but the beauty of it is, even as the pandemic continues, is how do we then align ourselves with nonprofits so that it creates a mutually beneficial situation. Now, of course, we don't want to expand the waistlines of people because we know if you eat popcorn, but if they're going to buy popcorn, why not get it from a nonprofit so that it supports their favorite nonprofit while also supporting a small business that's minority owned, veteran owned, and family owned, right? And it's right in the short pump area. So for us, is how do we overcome this challenge of the pandemic? Is we need to partner with organizations and create that mutually beneficial opportunity so that we can feed folks that want to be snacking while they're home, while also being able to provide a stream of revenue and income for nonprofits that want to support their cause.
And I think nutritionally, popcorn's almost a vegetable, isn't it?
The way we make it is,
it's vegetable adjacent.
It does come from corn, right?
Perfect. I mean, we really can't ask
some of the
for more.
toppings that we have, the flavors, we got about 46 flavors, and cookies and cream might make you, like as soon as you smell it, you might get about 4 or 5 pounds. Hey.
I think it's a healthy option, is my point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's if you look around the room, I can think of connections that should be made immediately. McShin with Jobs RVA is a natural fit. Everybody can sell some popcorn to support their own organization. It's an easy online thing. Support each other, and Mike can talk about media, but supporting each other's causes online, and I'm on a couple of nonprofit boards myself, and one of the thing that's important about being on a board is it's your job, right? It's your job to go out, create awareness, and raise money for your nonprofit. That's why a board is there. But we can be unofficial board members for each other also, because our constituents, if you will, are humans. There's a lot of overlap there. And while the competition for money is fierce, the wrong thing to do is compete with each other. The right thing to do is cast a bigger net, right? So if I support everybody at this table and all of my contacts see your information and vice versa, then it just grows your exposure, your connection, and cast your net a little bigger so you can speak softly instead of yelling and reach more people. So I would encourage you to share, connect with each other, and then share each other's mission and values where you can and where it makes sense, because we're not competing with each other. We should be complementing each other. My company, for those of you who don't know, is a B Corp, and we donate all of our profits to nonprofits in Virginia. A percentage of every engagement goes to the nonprofit of the client's choice, and at the end of the year we donate everything. And we do that for exactly the reasons that you kind of laid out today, which is there's so many places where that are doing great work that need help, and I've leveraged what I can. I hope that you leverage what you can, and together, we'll see our way through COVID. But there will be another COVID, right? There will be another thing that we're going to have to get through, and this will just make us stronger. I guess, how much time do we have?
We're at 37 minutes. Let me touch on the one of the ways this whole ecosystem sort of works. I tell people I help them with two things: exposure and revenue. And revenue by using the power of the media. There is power. And so one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is TV stations, radio stations are bombarded with public service announcements coming from everywhere under the sun. They can't go out. So even though yours is a great event, saving the world, they have 30 of them, they're waiting. In this town, there are a couple stations, and I know you guys you're one of the big dogs. And so I know you're going to look at that and say, no, not us. Yes, but now there are others who are out there, so you have to be strategic in how you get on. So the other places, there's one in town, so for WTVR, Virginia This Morning is a place that is a gold mine for that, because that's free TV that they're looking for community groups who are out there trying to make a difference. And so they have to fill up an hour's worth of live TV every day with groups. Now there are paid sponsors in there, all that. But if you touch on them on 2 months before your event, there's a lot of times they may be able to get you on. WRIC is another one. NBC 12 just started the news at 11, and then at 12 it turned into a community show that Candace Smith hosts. So the idea of it is make the relationship and do it far in advance, because without that, the news media, once they get hold of you and know who you are, media is lazy. Like a lot of people, hey, I need a sound bite. Let me go to that person because I know them. And so the idea of is become known to them, and we can help you. In this group right here, everyone plays a part. Who do we know that can help you get to where you want to be? So me and my wife, we believe like in a pay it forward model. You never know whose life you're going to impact. And it was just a throwaway line. You know, oh, whatever. You just changed somebody's life. So when we're here, we like to say thanks to Chef Michelle Wilson, because we're here. So if you ever need any type of catering, anything, make sure you go check her out. So you know her gratitude has us being here today. She opens up her facility to people all the time, and that's what sets a mark of a community champion. If you ever need video, now this is the sales part. I'm the sales guy with this. So if you ever need a manual DB arcade, the videos are outstanding. So we keep the money sort of in our ecosystem, because these are people who get it. So you know, when we need someone who's doing video, Emmanuel's the guy. Al Green is the guy with he's with the sound. We go back to our conservative radio days, which was classic. I mean, ESPN is fun, but being on conservative radio, that was funner. Yes.
And I just want to jump back to the original question about rolling the clock back 18 months in nonprofits. And you know, we were all paralyzed for the first 30 to 60 days. And when, at least the clients I worked with, some sitting at this table, when we could get past, we, meaning me included, we could get past that and say, okay, what are we really going to do? And most of them dug deep into the donors that they had. And if you think about, yes, continue to cast the net as big as you can, but when you look inside your own house and the money you spent to get those donors in the first place, it's much cheaper to keep them. So people started going back to, how can I continue to steward the donors that I already have, and I don't want to say capitalize, but be a part of the generosity that they're already doing. You know, we weren't sure when this hit whether it was going to be just a health pandemic, whether it was going to be a financial crisis, and for many it was. I'm not dismissing that, but for those many donors, it was not a financial crisis, and so they were able to do the things you talked about in turning their funds to the more immediate needs, but then also answering your call, answering your call. And so I just continue to urge you to look inside of the donors you already have, and how can you continue to make them feel important to you? How can you continue to make them know that you appreciate what they've done for you, and show them what their dollars have done for the organization and for the community? And I think that we're in a very different place today. Look, we're back to somewhat, in many respects, where we were. Vaccinated people are still getting COVID. But we have to learn how to operate in this, and whether it means, yep, we're back to virtual events, and many organizations are quickly shifting right now. We just have to figure out how to keep moving forward and not be paralyzed again, and not be afraid to call a donor to go on a walk, or sit on their back porch and bring a cup of coffee, or maybe use the telephone, which is a novel idea that people just got away from. So it didn't end up being a disaster for many nonprofits who, while they maybe weren't providing shelter and food, were able to survive. And I think it's because they dug deep inside and said, how can I really use the time I have most wisely?
Very quickly, at the end we have Cara. I know her as the career cheerleader. She is a master at capturing behind the scenes and the video. She also created something called Red Table Talk RVA, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal that she has 130,000 members, and Jada Pinkett Smith came calling. saying, hey, this is pretty cool. So Jaden will come from California and see this woman doing something here in Richmond, and next thing she knows, she's at Jada Pinkett Smith's house. So give them an idea really quick.
I love sharing stories of other people. I'm here for Chris, but at the same time, I love everything you're saying. So if he's rocking with you, I am too. So definitely reach out to me to see how we can do some cross promotion.
And quickly also, YB is, so anyone who wants and uses LinkedIn, he's the LinkedIn locksmith. He is a master at using that from a revenue standpoint. You know, it's just about, okay, LinkedIn, he can show you how to make it work. And everyone in this room, nonprofit, for-profit, can use that platform. Chris, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, with the couple minutes that we have left, we've talked about some pretty serious topics, but also there's probably been some really great things that have happened over the last year, and you've probably had some amazing impacts on some great people also. So I would like to hear a little good news from some nonprofits, and we should show people that are listening, people that are watching, you know, this really does work. This does help our community. So if you have a story that sticks out in your mind, and I know you must.
I got stories.
Yeah, I got stories. And I know Podium does because I've heard. Yeah.
You want
So,
me
yeah,
to
please,
start?
go
Oh,
ahead.
sure. Oh, cool. Stories, dag. Well, we actually through COVID, we've actually helped more humans before living in our sober home and our program housing. So that's number one. But the biggest thing I think is being able to, you know, impact a whole family unit. So the families coming together through obviously the COVID, I'm gonna call it COVID crap, and being able to also see their child or loved one grow in recovery. I mean, that's been the most beautiful thing for us at McShin. And the Getting the Herd podcast, we won for Richmond's Best last year, the 2021. So we, that's the coolest thing. So we get to go into, so our podcast, it's 3 days a week. It's on our Facebook page, live, Spotify, all that stuff. It is in 48 jails. So over 328 inmates have watched our videos just the past quarter. So that is like, to be able to reach that many humans, whether they have addiction or not, just having fun and recovery. Because some of the podcasts we have policymakers, not that they're not fun, but that's more serious, you know. But also our events and everything we video, we get to show the incarcerated population that, you know, there's still fun to be had during this time. And we just had Recovery Fest. We usually do smoking meat, not drugs is our thing, but we couldn't do that because of COVID. But we just had a live event outside. I wore my mask because of the whole situation. But it was a beautiful event to see these humans that we serve and our alumni bring their children somewhere safe, and the humans that get their kids back for the first time without being on drugs and alcohol, and really having that impact of like the next generation. So my daughter was born addicted to heroin, so it really affects me beautifully, and seeing the moms and the dads have fun and recovery with their children, even though we're in this crazy messed up world with the COVID. That's the most beautiful thing that touches me.
You know, when connection is really what this is about, right? That's really what we're here to do. That's really what, you know, materially from a real standpoint. You know, if you're not already, and I hope you all are, if you're not already working with Mike to get your message out to the ESPN crowd, it's 35,000 people a day, and you know, myself and David and YB, you know, we donate so that you guys do have that opportunity to touch people on a daily basis when they're in their cars or they're in their shops doing their work, listening to ESPN. So if you're not already, take advantage of that, because that connection is important, and kudos to you for bringing that in into the incarcerated population, because we also have an incarceration problem here, which is a whole nother segment, right? So, but those tools are here for you, and they're given to you nearly free, if not free. So use them, because that is the connection. That is the difference. Mike?
Alrighty, we'd like to thank everyone. One last time, quickly. First of all, we'd like to thank David Stein for being a sponsor. So, David, really quickly, I'm getting an evil eye from Emmanuel, but we're going to override it. Explain to really quickly, not much. Exactly, not much, but we got to show some love to you. So, explain why it means so much to you for your organization to be a sponsor for something like this.
Well, I'll start with the organization as a whole. I mean, Bankers were a pretty big national company, but when I came into Bankers, first thing ironically was when they were doing sponsoring for the Alzheimer's Foundation. They're one of the big sponsors for that. So I was like, all right, I was kind of drawn to that. My dad had always been a local business in Charlottesville growing up, and has always been part of the community. And I always was like, you got to get back to the community. There's the people that take care of you, you take care of them. So that kind of opened the door. And then, with working with my company, our branch manager, all of us, we love working with folks in the area. We love trying to give back. We've sponsored golf tournaments, anything we can do. And that's what I do for my job, because I want to sit down with you, take care of your life, take care of your family. So why would I not want to do that for my community as well? So honestly, sitting here listening to everybody talk, I would have some kind of connection to all of you in some kind of crazy way. Then that's why I want to enable everybody to have their voice heard, get the help you need, get out there, eat some popcorn, help people recover, give people jobs, whatever we can do. That's what's really important to me. And I think that comes just from my personal life, and then with the company we have being able to help kind of elevate me a little bit to do more. That's what's really big for me.
All right, appreciate it. One last time, so I'd like to thank the media partners, Chris Mayfield, ESPN, he's on with me, YB, and Patrick McFadden. They are the value brokers. Annette Shore, Chef Michelle Wilson, the Culture Mix, as well as the Culture Mix on TV.
The Culture Mix Experiment.
Like I said, it takes on TV.
Yeah.
So you can download it, you can see the magic, it happens. Emmanuel is the guy who makes that happen. So make sure you check out the folks who help us do our thing. Emmanuel, Al Green, we are out here trying to make some magic happen. Make sure you check out Cara if you ever need behind the scenes, red carpet person who's there talking to folks. Alrighty?
We want to do one more round of,
Yep,
of contact info?
Like I said, let's do one more round of contact info.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go with me. So
yes, sir.
Rob YB Youngblood, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's start there. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can find me Rob YB Youngblood, and then we can pick up the ball. I know you talked about LinkedIn. I'm here to represent Popcorn, but I love to focus on the LinkedIn piece, because that way people can see my professional brain. And I'm like Chris, I'm the connector, so I'm able to open up doors that lead to outstanding outcomes.
Sure, Art, are you coming? Okay. Was it me?
No,
okay. Okay, no. It's my email, honesty@mcshin.org, mcshin.org website. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, just McShin Foundation. I'm on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, that's pretty easy to find me. Just Google me.
Hey everybody, Vicki Ryan with Podium RVA. You can check out Podium at www.podiumrva.org. And if you want to connect with me directly, again, my name is Vicki Royan. It's a complicated last name, so find me on LinkedIn or look us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere.
Hi, and this is with Jobs RBA, so JOBS RBA, and I can be reached at JOBSRBAINFO, so that's jobsrbainfo@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website and find the contact tab and put your contact information in there, and we will return the call to you.
Hello, I'm Steve Peck. I am the Executive Director of Caring Men Global. Our sole mission in life is to educate men on how to deal with cancer when it strikes the family. You can reach me at steve@caringmen.org or visit our website at www.caringmen.org.
And I'm Ann Flippin, Executive Director with the Autism Society of Central Virginia. Our website is www.ascv.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram if you search for Autism Society Central Virginia.
David Stein, Banker's Life, retirement planner, small business strategist. You can find me on Facebook, David Stein, Banker's Life, LinkedIn. You can Google me as well. I'll pop up right at the top, David Stein, Banker's Life, one and only.
Really quickly, I thought we were done, but Emmanuel had to bring up something that I always ask people. I know he's a softie. I ask people what gives them hope. So we're going to go really quickly because I'm getting the evil eye, but he's asking me. That's what he was asking me when he's just like, I'm laughing because he says, are you going to ask people what gives them hope? So, Nanette, let's start with you.
This group and people like you all give me hope for our community, and I'll just throw in my contact as well, NANNETTESHOR@gmail, or LinkedIn, Nanette Shore, Facebook, Shore Fundraising Strategies.
I ripped you off for your time.
You did? I know how to claim it back.
Thank you. I'm reclaiming my time.
I would say what gives me hope are connectors. So connectors are the people who identify gaps and help people achieve their goals. And so we have a bunch of connectors, that's when things can happen. But some people might be afraid to go reach across the aisle and talk to that person. But if somebody like a Mike King or Chris or AJ comes in, those relationships can be made. So that's where I have hope.
Well, I'm a hope dealer.
I love
used to be
that.
a drug
I
dealer.
ripped that
I'm a
one
hope
off. I
dealer.
did.
Yeah, the hope for me is honestly just seeing the families get healed right in front of me and see these humans get amazing lives and just change the world just within. So, yeah.
Well, hope for me is really with Podium Youth, being able to see them grow, to see their perspectives and experiences be put out there for the whole world to see and to learn from. That's really what gives me hope.
And what gives me hope is to always remember the resiliency of people. The fact that we can be down and still come back and bounce back in regards to what has happened to us. And that knows that, and that makes me keep remembering that every day is a new day. The resiliency of the spirit of people.
What gives me hope is the opportunity that I've had putting together a website and an organization to educate men on how to deal with cancer when it strikes the family. We have found over the years that men do not have the engineered DNA to be good caregivers, and we are going to give them all the tools that they need to be as good as they can be.
What gives me hope is, I think, those who are willing to make connections and to help others in ways that help create community. And I've seen that happen a lot recently with our families, and knowing that they aren't alone on their autism journey, and just creating this community together.
For me, I think it would be sitting here right now with everyone. Obviously last year was really tough on everyone's personal lives, business lives, everything, organizations. And here we are. We've managed to get through that. And now we're doing it as a community. We've got each other's backs. We'll help push each other. It's not going to slow us down or stop us. I think that's the key for me.
It's always difficult to go last, especially when you're going to repeat somebody's answer. And for me, it's resiliency. As far back as we can remember, we've had catastrophic events, we've had pandemics, we've had endemic. I mean, you name it, we've had it, but we're still here, and we're still swinging, and we're still fighting. So that's what gives me hope. Is tomorrow, God willing, I'm still going to get up and be able to do this, and I'm hopeful for that, and I'm hopeful for everybody in the room that is called the same for the mission. So that's it.
Oh, Chef,
Chef?
you close us out there. What gives you hope?
What gives me hope? Okay, so what gives me hope, thank you, okay, is how smart we are. We're smart people. We're able to pivot during times of crisis. We're able to come together, support one another, and put all the weapons down to come together to get that job done. And so I just think that collectively we are smart people. We know how to pivot. We know how to get in things. We know how to get out of things. And so that gives me hope, and that's part of the reason why you are all here, is because you know you're smart. You know what it takes. You know what's needed. And I'm glad that you decided to be smart here. So that's nice. So that gives me hope, is that we continue to strive and we continue to grow as a community. And that's important during these times, particularly what's on the news, what's outside of our communities and things that are going on. It's important that we stay connected in a good and positive way.
We'd like to thank everybody for coming, and that's it. Thank you.